beautiful people. Today we will take a look at your immunology and serology as a course or major course in the MLS curriculum. Please note that this is yes, your immunology and serology. This is one course. Okay, immunology and serology, it is merged into one course. It is a 3-unit lecture, and then it has a laboratory portion. Anyhow, please note that your immunology, this one is the study of your body's immune system and its functional disorders. That is for your immunology. While your serology, that is the study of blood serum. Okay, it's the study of the serum, blood serum. Because in serology, you're going to test. You're going to test the serum. You're going to test the serum. Okay, that is for your immunology and your immunology and serology. They are closely related fields within the study of medical science or medical laboratory science. Again, as what we said earlier, your immunology it focuses on the study of the immune system. It includes the function, the structure, and the response to foreign substances. The production of antibodies, that is a portion of immunology. And yes, in immunology, it explores how the immune system protects the body from infectious diseases, as well as how it can sometimes malfunction and lead to autoimmune disorder. That is for your immunology. On the other hand, your serology, that is a branch, accordingly, of immunology that deals with the detection and measurement of antibodies in the serum. That is why earlier, when I gave you a definition, a shorter definition about serology, it examines the blood serum. Okay, it examines the blood serum. Okay, so in serology, it deals with the detection and measurement of antibodies that is present in the serum. Aside from that, your serology also involves the analysis of serum samples to identify specific antibodies that are produced in response to immunization or vaccination and others. So, yes, your immunology again, it is the study of the immune system, the components, and its function. And it focuses on the host defenses, regulation of the immune system, and immune-mediated diseases. And your serology, what do you call this? Yes, it examines antibodies and antigens present in the serum, and serology is used for diagnosis, monitoring, and screening of infectious and autoimmune diseases. For serology, this one is, yes, it is for the diagnosis, the laboratory. Okay, this one, serology, is the laboratory. Or let's say immunology, it is in vivo, inside, and serology, it is in vitro, it happens outside. Okay, serology, it is utilized for diagnosis, monitoring, and screening of infectious and autoimmune diseases. Okay, that is for your serology. Your immune system. Please note that the primary function, sorry, of your immune system is defense against pathogens. It is there to protect the host from microorganisms or from foreign bodies like bacteria, viruses, fungi, and parasites. And how does the immune system do that? Or how does it do that? It uses physical barriers like your skin, okay, or your mucous membranes. They are actually present, okay, to protect, okay, the host. Aside from that, you have your cells, your innate cells, your neutrophils, your macrophage, your eosinophils, and your other cells. They function against invading microorganisms. And then you have your adaptive responses. Okay, adaptive responses like your production of antibodies from your B cells or from your plasma cells, and then your T cells. also. Okay, that is for your defense. Okay, and some mechanisms of defense, of course, you have phagocytosis, what you call as cell eating, neutralization, opsonization, complement activation, and cytotoxic killing. Those are just among, okay, and so the mechanisms that are included in the uh, defense or yes, protection of the host. And yes, you have removal of damage or dead or abnormal cells. Please note that your immune cells, they continuously survey tissues for apoptotic cells. Okay, aside from apoptotic cells, they all also, what you call this, they also monitor debris and senescent cells. Okay, they also monitor debris and senescent cells. Okay, your macrophage. Okay, please note that your macrophage, they clear cellular waste to prevent inflammation and tissue damage. Okay, this clearing or removal of damaged or dead cells will prevent accumulation of potentially harmful materials that can trigger chronic inflammation. And yes, aside from that, surveillance against malignant cells. Please note that the immune system, it has the ability to identify and eliminate cells that undergo genetic mutations. Or they also have the ability to identify and eliminate cells that display abnormal antigens. Okay, examples of cells that are responsible for this one. You have your natural killer cells. Okay, you have your natural killer cells and cytotoxic T lymphocyte, which recognize these cells, your NK cells, and cytotoxic cells, cytotoxic T cells. They recognize what they call this? They recognize markers on tumor cells. They recognize markers or mutated markers that are present on tumor cells. And please note that if this surveillance fails, okay, then, okay, disease may progress. Anyway, and your immune system regulates or maintains homeostasis accordingly. How does it do that? It regulates inflammation to maintain physiologic balance. Okay, you have regulatory T cells that suppress excessive immune activation to prevent tissue damage. And yes, you have your cytokines that coordinate responses so that inflammation somewhat is uh, amplified and resolved appropriately. Okay, those are the functions, some actually of the functions of your immune system. But then the primary function again is defense against pathogens. So let's take a look at your immunity. Okay, your please note that immunity, that is the body's ability to protect itself from foreign invaders. Immunity, that is again the ability of your body to protect itself from foreign invaders. So you have two types of immunity here. You have your innate and you have your adaptive immunity. So your innate, this one is present at birth. Your innate immunity is present at birth accordingly. And usually they are the first lines of defense. They are the first line of defense. First line of defense, and yes, it is non-specific. Non-specific meaning it can or it restricts or it applies to all foreign invaders. It applies to all foreign invaders. Your innate immunity is non-specific. Example or components that are included in your innate, you have your intact skin. Please note it should be intact skin because if there is a cut or there is an abrasion or if it is broken, if it's broken skin, yeah, if it is broken skin, then the microorganisms can easily enter. Okay, what else? Mucous membranes. The normal flora. Please note that the normal flora, they also play a role in what we call this, in they also play a role against invasion of microorganisms. Cellular components, you have your neutrophils, your eosinophils, okay, your WBCs except your B cells and your T cells, your macrophage, your natural killer cells. And then you have soluble factors is what you call. You have your complement, okay, you have your complement system, you have your cytokines, and then your acute phase proteins. Please note again that this innate immunity or your first line of defense, the mechanism is rapid and it is non-specific, and as what I said earlier, it is present at birth. And please note, it's non-specific. It responds the same way regardless of the type of pathogen, regardless if that is a virus, if that is a bacteria, or what type of bacteria. Okay, and in innate immunity, there is no memory formation. There is no memory formation. Unlike for adaptive. For adaptive, you have memory formation present. Okay, and yes, as what we said earlier, your components, you have the skin, you have the mucous membranes. Okay, for your mucous membranes, of course, they trap pathogens. Okay, and so the cilia move. Okay, and so the cilia move them out. Okay, example in the respiratory tract, the cilia will move upwards, or it will move yes, it will move the bacteria upwards, going out. Okay, and then you have your uh, low pH of the stomach. This one is also part of innate immunity. Lysozyme in tears and in the saliva, fatty acids on the skin, and the rest. Of course, you have your neutrophils, as what we said earlier, which are the first responders during acute infection. And yes, your neutrophils, it is capable of phagocytosis. Your macrophage and the rest. Okay, your NK cells. Please note your complement system and the rest. Okay, you will learn this one in detail as you go through. And then you have your adaptive immunity. Your adaptive immunity, please note that this one is specific. Okay, it is highly specific. Okay, the response is tailored, or yes, it is aligned to a particular pathogen. It is specific, highly specific. The response of adaptive immunity is in relation to a particular pathogen. And yes, there is a memory that is called. There is a memory. Okay, it develops memory, leading to a faster and stronger response upon the second exposure. Okay, please note there is a memory here. It develops memory. Okay, wherein at the re-exposure, at the second exposure to that specific bacteria or to that specific microorganism or to that specific antigen, the response is faster and stronger. And in adaptive immunity, it requires antigen presentation. It requires antigen presentation. Anyway, you have your what do you call this? Two classification of your adaptive immunity. You have your humoral and cell-mediated immunity. Your humoral, okay, and so your humoral, the components, you have your antibodies or the active component. Okay, the active component is antibodies. While for your cell-mediated, the active component, you have your T cells. The active component, you have your T cells. Okay, for humoral, of course, the antibodies are produced by plasma cells. Please note that your plasma cells, they are differentiated B cells. Your B cells will differentiate into plasma cells, and these plasma cells will produce antibodies. And please note that they are effective against extracellular pathogens, toxins, viruses, sorry, before cell entry. And then you have your cell-mediated. Your cell-mediated, please note that you have the cells. Okay, the cells, they are the effector cells. Okay, they have your cells, they are the effector. Okay, or yes, you have the active component of cell mediated. You have your T cells, you have your CD4 T or T helper cells, and your cytotoxic T cells. Your T helper cells, they coordinate immune response via cytokines, and your cytotoxic T cells, they kill infected or abnormal cells. And please note that your cell mediated, they are effective against intracellular pathogens. Intracellular. Okay, intracellular pathogens, yes, virus, and tumor cells accordingly. Okay, and yes, that is for your adaptive immunity. Please note that your adaptive, it is specific. And yes, let's take a look at your antigen and your antibody. No, your antigen or antibody generator kasi yun. Yeah, it's antibody generator kasi. Anyway, your antigen, these are substances recognized by immune system. Okay, these are substances that is recognized by the immune system. And yes, you have your types of antigens. They can be proteins, they can be polysaccharides, they can be lipids, they can be nucleic acid. Okay, and yes, okay, your antigen, you have antigen properties. Okay, and so they can be complex. Okay, and so the antigen may be classified based on the degree of foreignness, specificity, and the rest. Okay, and then you have your antibodies or your immunoglobulins. Immunoglobulins. Anyway, they are produced by your plasma cells. Again, as what we said earlier, your plasma cells, they are your B cells, they will differentiate into plasma cells. In these plasma cells will produce your antibodies. Okay, your antibodies, they have a basic structure. You have your two heavy chain and two light chain. Please note they are Y-shaped, ha. Okay, they are Y-shaped accordingly. And yes, you have your classes. You have your IgG or immunoglobulin G or immunoglobulin gamma, immunoglobulin mu, alpha, immunoglobulin delta, and yes, okay, IgG, IgM, IgA, IgD, and IgE. Please note that, okay, and so this is the arrangement. Okay, and so IgG is the most abundant, followed by IgM, most abundant in the plasma. You have IgG, IgM, and the least abundant accordingly is IgE. Okay, and please note that your antibodies, they function for neutralization of toxins, opsonization of antigen, and complement activation accordingly, and complement activation. That is for your antigen and antibodies. Okay, so you have your classes, your major classes of your immunoglobulins. You have your IgG, IgM, your IgG, that is the most abundant and it can cross the placenta. Okay, and so yes, please note that what I'm doing here is just an introduction or I'm giving you an idea of what you will, okay, discuss in serology and immunology. IgM, that is the first produced antibody. And please note that it is a strong agglutinator, a potent agglutinator. IgA, it functions for mucosal immunity. IgE, okay, for allergic reaction and parasitic infections. And IgD, it is a B cell receptor. IgD is a B cell receptor. It is actually a marker also. Your IgD is a marker. Okay, so you have here your antibody structure. Okay, you have your antibody structure. As what I've said earlier, it is Y-shaped. Okay, Y-shaped. You have your two light chains and two heavy chains. Okay, and so you have your, yes, your light chain. You have your light chain, and then you have your heavy chain. You have your heavy chain. And then, of course, you have the hinge region. Your hinge region here. Okay, let's take a look again. Your antibody structure, you have two heavy chain, which is identical and larger. Comparing it with your light chain, you have a two light chain, okay, which is identical and smaller chains. Please note, you have regions of an antibody. You have a variable region, okay, variable region, and a constant region. Please note again that an antibody or an immunoglobulin is Y-shaped glycoprotein with four polypeptide chains. So what are the polypeptide chains? Again, you have your two heavy chains and two light chains, making you what you call this four polypeptide chain. Your two heavy chain, of course, okay, they are heavier. You have 50 kilodaltons each, and your light chain, they are 25 daltons each. Okay, please note that the chains, they are held together by disulfide bonds. The chains, they are held together by disulfide bonds. Okay, and that's what we said. You have two regions. You have the variable and the constant region. Okay, the variable region, they are located at the tip of the Y arm. Okay, they are located at the tip of the Y arm. Okay, tip of the Y arms, both heavy and light chain. And then you have the hypervariable region in the variable region, which is the binding site, antigen binding site. The hypervariable region is the antigen binding site, and it is responsible for specificity, meaning each antibody, each hypervariable region has each hypervariable region binds to a unique epitope. Your epitope is an antigen. Okay, your epitope is an antigen. And then you have your constant region. Your constant region here determines the class type, determines the class, or sorry, the class of the antibody. Okay, determines the class of the antibody. You have IgG, okay, and so IgM, and the rest. Please note that your constant region mediates the functions of your complement activation and binding to FC, or to, yes, to your FC receptors accordingly. Okay, so yes, I guess okay, hanggang dyan muna ang sasabihin ko about the structure of the antibody. Okay, about the structure of the antibody. Okay? Yes. Please note that this is your hyper variable region. This is your hyper variable region. Okay, this is the antigen binding site. Okay, and so that is the epitope. Okay, again, it is a Y-shaped antibody and you have a disulfide bond present here. Okay, so you have here your antibody classes. You have your IgG, IgE, IgD, IgM, and IgA. Please note that IgM, it is a pentamer accordingly. It is a pentamer. And then you have your IgA, it is a dimer. Okay, and then your IgG, IgE, IgD, they are monomers accordingly. They are monomers. Again, this portion, it will bind to an antigen. They will bind to an antigen. This portion, they will bind to an antigen. Your IgM, it has the most numerous antigen binding site. You have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. It has a 10 antigen binding site. While for your IgE, IgD, IgG, you only have two antigen binding site. For this one, of course, you have 1 to 4. You have 4 antigen binding site. Anyway, that is for your antibodies. Okay, and then you have your complement system. These are components of your immune system. But then, yes, you will learn about this one in serology still. Your complement system, please note that they are group of plasma proteins that are activated via the classical, alternative, or lectin pathways. Okay, yeah. Yes, and please note that your complement system, they function for opsonization, inflammation, and cell lysis. Okay, please note, if you try to remember, sabi natin earlier, your complement system is an innate component, sorry, a component of the innate immunity. Okay, component of your innate immunity. And then you have your cytokines. They are chemical messengers of the immune system. Okay, chemical messengers of the immune system. And you have your types of cytokines. You have your ILs or your interleukins. ILs or interleukins. You have your interferons. And then you have your tumor necrosis factor, your TNF, your tumor necrosis factor. And you have chemokines also. Chemokines. Okay. What is the function of this one? Your cytokines. They activate cells or they function for cell activation, inflammation, and differentiation. If you try to remember, when we talk about your hematology, there are cytokines also. Cytokines and CSF or colony stimulating factors, they are involved actually in blood cell production. Cytokines, again, and CSF or colony stimulating factors, they're involved in blood cell production. Okay? And yes, you have your hypersensitivity because your hypersensitivity, you will learn about this one also more in detail as you go to when you go to immunology or as you go through, of course. Okay, you have four types. Okay, you have your or sige, allergic reaction is what you call. Okay, hypersensitivity or allergic reaction is what you call. Type 1, that is IgE mediated accordingly. Okay, you have allergies, anaphylaxis. Okay, and then type 2, you have your antibody mediated cytotoxicity. And then you have type 3, immune complex deposition, and type 4, you have delayed T cell mediated accordingly. For type 1, For type 1, accordingly, you have your immediate, this is otherwise known as immediate hypersensitivity reaction. Immediate hypersensitivity reaction, meaning, okay, the reaction is immediate. Okay, the reaction, the onset is seconds to minutes, accordingly, seconds to minutes, seconds to minutes. Please note that in this one, okay, in IgE or in type 1, your what you call this, your mast cells, okay, and basophils are involved accordingly. Examples of type 1 hypersensitivity, you have allergic rhinitis, urticaria, food allergies. Okay, and so are example of hypersensitivity reaction. Anaphylaxis. Okay, what else? Sorry, type 2, you have your antibody-mediated cytotoxic hypersensitivity or antibody-mediated cytotoxicity. Okay, your accordingly IgM or IgG binds to antigens on the cell surface of the extracellular matrix. And this binding will lead to complement activation, opsonization, or antibody-dependent cell-mediated cytotoxicity. Okay, onset for this one, minutes to hours accordingly. Okay, it's somewhat mabilis, it's fast. Okay, examples of antibody-mediated autoimmune hemolytic anemia. And then you have type 3, immune complex mediated. Okay, immune complex, the excess antigen-antibody complex is deposited in the tissues and will activate complement, causing inflammation and tissue injury. Okay, for this one, onset is hours to days. Relatively, okay, chronic somewhat. Example of type 3, you have SLE, okay, post-streptococcal glomerulonephritis. And then you have your delayed type, your type 4. Okay, delayed type, you have your delayed type It is accordingly mediated by your sensitized T lymphocytes, not antibodies. Okay, sensitized T lymphocytes. And the onset for this one is 24 to 72 hours. 24 to 72 hours. Examples, you have chronic transplant rejection, contact dermatitis, those items. Okay, and you have your autoimmunity. Please note that autoimmunity is not good. Okay, autoimmunity is not good because you are, okay, you are eliciting immune response against your own cells or against your own antigens. Okay, against your normal antigens. Ganon. Okay, autoimmunity. Okay, there is immune response against yourself or against your cells or against your antigens, normal cells, against your normal antigens. Okay, and please note this one is not good. This one is not good. Okay, examples. Okay, you have your systemic lupus erythematosus, rheumatoid arthritis. Aside from that, Hashimoto's thyroiditis. And you have actually a lot of autoimmune disorders. Okay, you have actually a lot of autoimmune disorders. Okay, and again, this is not good. Autoimmunity is not good because your body should not, okay, your body should not consider your cells, your normal antigens as foreign. Okay, and then you have your serologic testing. Okay, your serologic testing. Please note that your serologic testing, okay, the principles involved are antigen-antibody reactions actually. When you say serologic testing, again, the core principle of serologic testing is antigen-antibody binding. Please note that your serology, it relies on the specificity of antibodies for the corresponding antigens. When the antigen and the antibody meet in optimal conditions, they form immune complexes that can be visualized or measured. Okay? Again, antigen-antibody binding. Again, when the antigen and antibody, when there is enough antigen and enough antibody that will meet and form immune complexes, okay, they can be visualized. Okay, they can be visualized. And they can be measured. Okay, they can be measured. Please note that what they call this, in antigen-antibody reactions, again, there is a specificity of antibodies for their corresponding antigens. Okay, so meaning, usually, okay, usually you're either going to detect in serologic testing, either you're going to detect antigen present in the sample or antibody that is present in the sample. It actually depends on the method that you are using. Okay, some methods they make use of antibody, okay, present in the reagent, and they are detecting antigen from the sample, and the other way around uh, for some methods. Okay, again, but then the principle, please don't forget antigen-antibody reaction. Antigen-antibody reaction. Okay, for your antigen-antibody reaction, please note, okay, you have here the antigen binding site, okay, where the antigen will bind, of course. Okay, and so, yes, the antigen will bind, okay, and more antigen, more antibody will do the binding, okay, causing a visible reaction. Okay, and so something like that. An antibody or an antigen will be attached here, an antigen will be attached, and another antibody will attach, and whatsoever. Okay, antigen-antibody binding. Please don't forget. Please note that in serologic testing, you have what you call as agglutination reactions, neutralization reaction, precipitation reaction, flocculation, and the rest. Okay, and so but then, okay, let me just show you precipitate agglutination here. Your agglutination reactions, please note that there is visible clumping of particles. There is visible clumping of particles. Okay, if you did ABO typing or blood typing as what you say. Okay, that is an example of agglutination reaction. Okay, aside from that, CRP and rheumatoid factor tests. Okay, there is visible clumping. Okay, and so in agglutination, insoluble. What you have here is insoluble antibody and insoluble antigen. And then for precipitation reactions, you have soluble antigen plus soluble antibody forming visible precipitates. Okay, forming visible precipitates. Okay, that is for your precipitation. Sooner, okay, and so when you will go to serology and immunology, you have actually a lot of methods here. You have actually a lot of methods. Okay, and so yes, this one is an example of a process, okay, of a serologic test. This one actually is an algorithm or yes a process of COVID-19 rapid antigen test, okay, which utilizes lateral flow immunochromatography rapid test. Okay, and then you have your enzyme immunoassays. You have enzyme immunoassays, you have enzyme labeled antibodies that detect antigen or antibody. And then you have your rapid immunologic test, you have your lateral flow assays, which provide results in minutes. Okay, example of your rapid immunologic test, your test kits. Your test kits for dengue dot, your test kits for anti-HCV, your test kits for anti-HB-Sag, or sorry, your test kits for HB-Sag, your test kits for serologic test for syphilis, your what do you call this? Rapid immunologic test. A good example, pregnancy test. Okay, pregnancy test. What else? Okay, you have actually a lot for your rapid immunologic tests. Okay. And yes, part of immunology and serology, you will also learn about diseases. You will also learn about your diseases. Okay, like your hepatitis, syphilis, or HIV, and autoimmune disorders. Okay, that is for immunology and serology. To give you a recap about your immunology and serology, please note that again, for immunology, that is the study of the immune system and its functions. For serology, it is the study of blood serum and its components. Again, study of your blood or yeah, the blood serum and its components because you're going to test the presence of antigen, presence of antibody in serology. And please note that for immunology, it focuses on the immune response, immunity, and related disorders. For serology, it focuses on the detection. Serology focuses on the detection and measurement of antibodies and antigen in the serum. Yes, in immunology, it it relies on what you call this flow cell. Okay, the methods involved, you have flow cell, PCR also involved in immunology. While for serology, it relies on agglutination reactions, precipitation reaction, complement fixation, and the rest. And for, of course, your serology, okay, of course, it is applied in blood typing or yes, ABO, disease diagnosis, and serologic testing. While for immunology, okay, your immunology is utilized in vaccine development, autoimmune disease research, and transplant. Okay? And then your serology, the components, of course, it focuses on antibodies, antigens, complement system, and blood groups. While for your immunology, okay, it studies your immune cells, your antibodies, cytokines, and immune system organs. Okay, that is for your immunology and serology. By the way, before I forget, your references for immunology and serology, okay, you have your uh, Stanley references. Okay, you have your Stanley, Stevens, and Turgeon. Stanley, Stevens, and Turgeon. Okay. And still Henry. Okay, Henry. Don't forget Henry for your reference. Okay, I guess, yeah. So I guess we will end here. Let's continue some other time. And this has been Gael, reminding you to live fully, love deeply, laugh often, keep learning, and never forget to enjoy the ride. And as you move forward, may you always choose curiosity over fear, kindness over convenience, and growth over comfort. Celebrate your small victories, honor your quiet moments, and trust that every step, no matter how uncertain, shapes the story you are meant to tell. The world is wide, your time is precious, and your journey is uniquely yours. Go make it extraordinary. Thank you so much. Thank you, and see you around.